I think they're excited for it, and I think me personally, I love the energy that they bring. I love how excited they always are watching the games, and how passionate they're about it. So I think those are all great things to have as ownership, and to see that as a player. I think it's going to be exciting.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV in the Section 1904 podcast. I am Marty Caswell. That is AJ Cassavell. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, AJ, full disclosure. It's the first time in a very long time I left Petco Park in extra innings, not waiting for the outcome. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't regret it one single bit. I know that you were rooting for 16 innings.
Which inning did you leave during? I remember.
Was the 12? I left like the top of the 12th when Estrada was in the game.
Okay.
And then
so you were fed up with the bunts.
I was
fed up with the two bunts.
Okay. I was done. I was done with the bunts. I had seen enough. I have no idea if Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano were at the game yesterday to watch this, but I would say the Padres had a bit of a clunker in their very first game officially under Jose and Kwanza.
Well, as Jose clarified, Friday was their first game.
Friday. Okay.
So they're 3-1 in that era.
Which
was that was his qualifier yesterday at the press conference. That they started 3-0.
Got it.
But I thought they might never lose. But no, that last night was not a fun game.
No.
For a lot of different reasons. And I'm not one of these curmudgeonly sports reporters who just wants to get home. But like that was just not good baseball. Like
that
the
was
popped up
baseball.
bunts and the base running. Like I can't deal with that. Those if the game's going to go 12, 13 innings, make it fun, exciting, have some runs scoring, have some different things happening on the base paths, clutch hitting, like those are fine. I'll stay at the ballpark till midnight for a game like that. Last night was not that game.
Last night was
not a very fun Padres game.
Right. And I know what Craig Stammen said in post game that they may come to regret this game. Listen, if they figure the things out and they're in the postseason, maybe you don't remember this game, but if they miss the postseason by one game, by two games, these are the sort of losses that you cling to, that you look back. That, and of course, having 4 runners thrown out at home plate versus the Mets. All right. I was not there again in post game, so I'm curious to see what the lineup is today, especially with the concerns on Manny Machado. I think Craig Stammen said it was a bruised right index finger. Manny never tells us when he's dealing with injuries. How long has he been dealing with this, and how bad was? I thought he was going to come out of that game. I didn't realize it was finger when he doubled over running to first base. But what's he dealing with these days, AJ?
Yeah, he doesn't tell us, so it's hard to know. But you've kind of first noticed it with his swings and with the grimaces afterward last week in New York. So it's been going on for at least a week, or at least something has been going on for at least a week. I don't know if that specific finger bruise has been going on, but Manny's played through a lot this year. Manny obviously had some knee stuff, some other stuff with his legs. Like he's playing through a lot, and he's gutted it out, and he's always kind of found a way. I think his teammates like deeply respect that. So even though like he's not having statistically one of the best seasons of his career, he's probably maybe statistically having the worst season of career in a long time.
Yeah.
I think he's still kind of meant a lot to this team in this lineup, but at some point, if the pain is too much and it's affecting your swing too much, and every time you get jammed, you're going to be in that much pain, do you start to compensate? Does Manny need a few days? I know what his answer would be, but I don't know if that would necessarily be the Padres' answer.
They pay him
we'll see.
They pay him to post, but this is where Craig Stammen, if it were Mike Schilt, it'd be a different story. He would never take him out of the game, and he'd talk back at the baseball card. But I mean, Craig Stammen made that clear in his opening presser that, he's not getting any younger. They want to preserve him. So like right now, as they enter this stretch, and it's a sprint, not a marathon, actually, I'm not even sure what their options are. I mean, like they're in a pennant race right now, and you're wondering, why Dustin Harris? Why is Dustin Harris getting meaningful at bats with where the Padres are at? But if you're the Padres and they just sent down Sung-Mun Song, maybe their best defensive third baseman, not named Manny Machado, what other options do you have? Not like you have someone who's hot on the bench that can go ahead and give you those at bats to replace Manny Machado. What do you do at this point?
I kind of think you do. I kind of think Rengifo fills that void pretty easily. Like he's obviously not nearly the defender that Manny Machado is, but you can slide Rengifo to third base, keep Cronenworth at second, Bogarts at short. Obviously, you don't you probably don't send down Song with the idea that Manny Machado is going to need a few days off, like right
Right.
afterward. But I understand the reasoning behind sending Song down because he hasn't
Mhm.
been getting at bats here, and
Yep.
you want him to develop, you want him to be the player you kind of signed him to be. Well, he's not going to be that guy if he's getting 2 at bats a week. So I get that move. I understand Dustin Harris being here because you can use that lefty off the bench. I would be surprised if he's in the lineup every day. I think
Mhm.
yesterday was just a welcome to the big leagues. And you know what? His double started that 8th inning rally that got the game tied. But I'd be surprised if he's in the lineup every day. I think he's just a left-handed bench bat. Um, maybe a test to see if it works, and if it doesn't work, maybe then you go to Ethan Salas. I don't know.
Oh
That
boy.
that thought
Oh
that
boy.
thought crossed my mind because they do like they could use a bat on the bench, a left-handed bat on the bench that you can feel comfortable pinch hitting. I don't know if Salas is that guy. There's obviously a million other like things to take into account, but like honestly, in the grand scheme, if Manny Machado has a finger bruise and needs to sit a few days, I do think that Craig Stammen's the type of manager that could convince him, hey, this is
Yep.
what's best for us. Because he was the guy that convinced him to sit on April 13th when he didn't sit until September 13th last year. So I think there's a lot of like, and then if Manny Machado sits for 3 or 4 days and gets healthy and starts swinging it like he did a couple times this summer when he started to get
Mm-mm.
hot, that's fine. That's worth it. This lineup is kind of, last night aside, is kind of humming enough where you can afford that. And so I don't, as long as this isn't anything long term that might linger, and it doesn't seem like it would be, I don't think it's too big of a concern.
It's funny. Last week, Darren just declared he was done talking about Ethan Salas, but I'm thinking about it yesterday, especially more when I'm seeing, these at bats by Dustin Harris and the guys they need to depend on and where the injury situation is. But like, you want Campusano's bat in the lineup every single day. Freddie Fermin is hitting a lot better too.
Yeah.
So that's the case for that third catcher. It doesn't mean you're going to ride Salas every single day, but just a little bit of a bench option. We're less than a week away, right, from rosters expanding. So maybe is there?
Maybe. I
Are
mean,
we making for it?
there's also still Miguel Andujar coming back from the
Yes.
IL, Samad Taylor coming back from the IL. There's other options, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's not. There's just there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not just like, is Ethan Salas the right fit for the Padres bench?
Right.
Because you know what? I think honestly, like you can make that case. Like, who is the Padres' best 28-man roster once rosters expand? Who are their 14 best hitters? What is their best path?
Mhm.
I am okay with you making the case that Ethan Salas should be in those 14 hitters. Like,
Okay.
you want 3 catchers, you want Ethan Salas to be one of them. Then you can use Luis Campusano maybe as a little more of a bench bat. He's obviously not as great defensively as Fermin and probably as Salas. So like, you can make that case, but then you have all the other kind of factors with rushing Salas to the big leagues and his
Yeah.
development and where he stands on the roster. Like, I don't know if it's as simple as just being like, all right, let's add a third catcher because we need our 14th man on the roster to be good enough. It's just there's more to it than that.
Okay. What's happening with Miguel Andujar? Swing progression.
He's
He's
yeah,
starting. He's starting slowly. Okay. So we're
he's
talking
swinging.
September.
Yes, sometime in September. I mean,
Okay.
it's been a little longer than I think they initially said, but
Hmm.
that's not really anything new, and I also don't think it's that much longer. So,
Okay.
Samad Taylor would be closer than Andujar.
Okay, he's actually playing in games for El Paso. So hopefully that spark plug is back sooner than later. I know Craig Stammen said that Pivetta has a rehab start today in Lake Elsinore. Hopefully it goes a lot better than last time he pitched in Lake Elsinore. Goodness sakes, in Elsinore, and then Joe Musgrove on Thursday. Are we assuming this is Musgrove's, if things go well, his final rehab start, or maybe one more depending on how Casey Mize is doing with his injury, his ankle injury?
I think maybe one more. And
Okay.
I don't even think it'll be Casey Mize related. I think maybe one more. And that's like a 50-50 thing. I like it could be Musgrove's last start. I was probably more convinced it would be his last start before he had this gap between the two.
Yeah.
But now that he's kind of had this gap, maybe the Padres want to find a little rhythm, a little every 5th day kind of rhythm with him. So that would put him on track for what, like early September.
Yeah. And the gap real quick is because of his back, something flaring up in his back. Is that why?
Yeah, it's something because of his back. And my understanding of it is like you're there with Joe when we talked to him. He is the most
Mhm.
forthcoming player of any player I've ever covered.
Yes.
And so he talked about his back hurting him. Like, I think with any other pitcher, that's just like, Oh man, I threw 5 innings for the first time and threw 97 miles an hour. And like I haven't done that in a year and a half, and my back was a little bit sore. Like with any
Yeah.
other pitcher, we wouldn't have heard this. It would have been kind of just like, oh yeah, my back's sore after going at it intensely for as hard as I have for in a long time. But
Mhm.
Musgrove tells us every detail, which God bless him. I'm happy to hear every single detail. But I don't
Yes, me
think like
too.
the back is not like this is not a setback like he had earlier in the season. This is just kind of what happens when you're recovering from an injury and building up. So yeah, so maybe that's part of the reason why that's definitely the reason the gap exists. Maybe that's part of a reason why you want to get him on a all right, let's get you recovering so you're pitching every fifth or sixth day.
Okay, Tatis, Jackson Merrill, 15 combined home runs in their last 30 games. We're going to go ahead and cast aside yesterday's results. But well, actually, no, I want to ask you about Merrill. He seems to be, you think he's back, and then he has at bats like he had yesterday. What's going on
Yeah.
with Jackson Merrill with the inconsistency and swinging at pitches outside the zone?
I think maybe we just have to kind of accept that that's Jackson Merrill. He's going to
Okay.
be a little inconsistent. He's going to swing at some pitches outside the zone, and then he's going to
Look like Jackson Merrill again.
hit two home runs in consecutive days,
Yeah.
hit that bomb over the walkway on Sunday. Now the question is, and like Jackson Merrill has done it against some really good pitchers. He did it in the postseason last year.
Mhm.
This isn't like he's getting by with some good at bats against bad pitching. Like he's just going to be a little inconsistent because of how much he chases, and if he's overthinking the chase, then he's maybe not swinging aggressively and not swinging at the right pitches, which we saw earlier in the season. So maybe there's some extent we just have to kind of accept Jackson Merrill's inconsistency. Um,
Hmm.
I would like to just see a little bit more quality of the at bats later in the games, but I also like this is just kind of who Jackson Merrill is as a player. Like he's going to try and win you the game. Sometimes that results in three swings and misses in a big spot. It's not great, doesn't look great, but it does look great, like a 430-foot homer over the walkway in right field on Sunday. Like I'm not concerned about Jackson Merrill right now. I was very concerned about him in the
Okay.
first half of the season.
Same here.
Him chasing, I guess, to me, I'm moving forward. This is a fluid thing that I'm learning, having watched Jackson Merrill every day. I'm learning kind of what to expect from him. I am not going to be worried about Jackson Merrill when he's chasing. I am going to be worried about Jackson Merrill when he's chasing and then not swinging at the pitches that he can destroy because he's maybe overthinking the chase. So
Okay.
he's just a guy that swings freely.
Okay. I have one more question about his locker mate before I move on to the ownership and Kwanza Jones and Jose Feliciano, who put on quite a show yesterday at Petco Park. I always get a lot of questions about Gavin Sheets and his production. He's been dealing with the plantar fasciitis, and I know that lingers. That lingers all season long. That lingers in the off season. That's chronic. What's going on with him? I mean, is it just a pain threshold thing for him? He's just going to determine to go ahead and you don't have surgery for that. You just have to deal with it, right?
I think they're thinking it's gonna be fine once he gets some rest in the off season, but as long as he's playing through it, it's just gonna flare up and bark at him, and it's gonna be painful and a lot to deal with. But they don't need Gavin Sheets. This is why I think he's playing less than he did. And he's also like if you see him pregame, he's not doing nearly as much because he's just trying to you got to essentially. He put it to me as like you got to keep it from barking for most of the day so that you get to the game, and then it doesn't feel great, but it's not terrible, it's not dreadful, it's not like people who've dealt with plantar fasciitis say it's just awful.
Yeah.
I think it's just like limiting that pain, and as a result, getting the most you can out of Gavin Sheets. So he's not going to start every game.
Okay.
You can make a case he should start against right-handers every game. If he does, maybe he's just DHing instead of playing left field. But I think he can still be a contributor, and then you get it taken care of however you get it taken care of in the offseason.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I used to when I covered Antonio Gates with the Chargers, their superstar Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, he dealt with that like a good portion of his career, and for him, it was like a pain threshold thing. I mean, couldn't get away from it. All right, yesterday, Kwanza Jones, Jose Feliciano. What stood out to you, other than the energy and the vibe, AJ, from their presser?
I mean, the energy and the vibe. That was the best. I can't tell you how much I generally hate those press conferences in the Petco Park Auditorium because
Yeah,
they're not like they're not real. They're not for us really. They're for fans to watch and they're
yeah.
for the team to kind of to show off whoever is freshly signed or whoever is coming in or the manager they've hired or whatever. Um, so like they're kind of, at least from my perspective, just kind of stale and boring usually. And this was not that. This was like interesting at least. And so like if you kind of accept that it's not going to be necessarily about like asking and answering all the questions that need to be asked and answered. And like what questions really needed to be asked yesterday. We don't have information about what they've done with the Padres to ask
Right,
about yet. So
right.
like an introductory press conference for a new owner is always going to be kind of a little like I don't want to say meaningless, but like it's always going to be a little performative. But this
Hmm.
one, so if you accept all of that, then this was great. Like, give me the energy, give me the vibes, give me the song. The song was like, I think now every time if the Padres are going to do another press conference at the Petco Park Auditorium, should be a prerequisite that they
Okay,
have to the person being introduced has to write their own song
a hundred
to
percent,
enter to because
a hundred
the
percent.
standard has now been set. So I'm all for it. I thought the energy was good. I thought like some of the responses about the community and about Peter were like thoughtful and like
Hmm.
really like I mean and like the actions will speak louder than the words eventually, but like they were the words that I think you would want to hear as a San Diegan, and then as a Padre fan they clearly want to win or are going to win. So yeah, eventful press conference. I kind of, when I get those press releases saying
Uh,
something's happening at the Petco Park Auditorium, I roll
yep.
my eyes and I don't expect much. And I was
Wow.
pleasantly surprised yesterday.
And it's you're talking to someone that lives for press conferences, but that one, when I heard the music, I'm like, okay, this one's going to be different. Hey, just imagine though,
We-
if you're recruiting a player, right? Like Peter used to, meet these like Aaron Judge. If Kwanza Jones was in that meeting, they sign Aaron Judge. He
That's
signs in
yeah,
San Diego. He gets his own entry song, boom, and she takes it away. I like I like their synergy, the back and forth too. That was really,
yeah,
really cool. So
yeah.
we'll
And
see.
I think we were all kind of wondering how it would go,
Yeah.
and I was impressed. I was just impressed with them. And I will also just caveat everything I'm saying about this press conference by saying, just a press conference, their actions will speak a whole lot louder than the words eventually. But yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like when they start meeting with free agents, when they start trying to sign free agents, like
Hmm.
how can you not want to kind of be a part of that vibe?
The line that I'm looking forward to finding out the most about is we're going to spend within our means. This is going to be the richest ownership group the Padres have had, if I've read this correctly. So,
Hmm.
how are they going to spend? I want to see how they're going to go ahead and spend this off season. Whenever it actually kicks off, because of the likely lockout will be fascinating. But yeah, you're exactly right. We're going to find, we don't know anything about them right now. We're going to find out a
Yeah.
lot more in the coming months. We're not going to know during this regular season. We're going to find out in the offseason. All right, AJ, when I see you at Petco Park today, when it's 125 degrees, will the Padres be working on their bunting at Petco Park?
Craig Stammen said so. And you know what?
Okay.
Like he said we'll get back out of the bunting machine tomorrow, and I kind
Oh,
of
goody.
chuckled, but I don't know if he was lying. And you know what? At least knowing Jake Cronenworth is one of the guys that popped up the bunt, I think he
Yeah.
will. That was,
Yeah.
I mean, I am generally anti-bunt, and I also think that like there's too many bunts. Like the lack of bunts has caused players to be worse at bunting, so you need to factor that into your equations. I kind of thought both those bunts in both those situations were fine. You just got to get them down, and they didn't.
Bunting. Mike Schilt would be so proud. All right, AJ.
Well, not of those bunts.
None of those bunts, but just the idea that today at Petco Park on August 25th, 30 games left in this season. Back to the basics, baby. Back to bunting. All right, AJ. Great. Thank you for your time today. I like your new digs. Looks fancy background. Looking forward
Oh
to find
yeah.
out more about that later on today.
Hopefully, it'll be looking a little more interesting next week.
All right, good stuff. All right, guys. Thanks so
Actually,
much for
next
watching.
week I'll be
Marty.
in Cincinnati. So.
Oh, you will. How's the beer? Oh, Skyline Chili.
I mean, I haven't been to Cincinnati. It's been, I think, I haven't been to Cincinnati since the year before COVID, so 2019. So I haven't had Skyline Chili, so maybe it's gotten better. I will report back.
Why do you
next Tuesday on the
change?
show.
You don't mess with perfection. Skyline Chili is designed exactly as it is.
Do you like Skyline Chili?
When I was there, I enjoyed it. I was actually there for a Chargers Bengals game way back then, and their halftime spread was chili chili spaghetti. And
Yeah.
I loved that. It took me down to my favorite guilty pleasure from Bob's Big Boys. It's spaghetti noodles, chili, and then like a slice
Yeah.
of cheese. Not grated cheese,
No,
like American
I
cheese.
had that.
Delicious.
I had that 9 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever the last time I had Skyline chili was. And as someone whose favorite food is spaghetti with sauce, that is not good. I'm sorry, Marty. It's just not good. It does not cut it.
All right. I think it's time to end this interview. I don't agree with you. You're wrong. All right.
I'll report back next week. It's been too long. I can't have this. I can't deeply have this opinion until I try it again, and maybe I'll like it.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to that review. All right. That's AJ Cassavell. I'm Marty Caswell. Thank you so much for watching Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. We're brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a wonderful day. Hydrate. We'll talk to you guys Thursday. Peace out. Goodbye. Thanks, AJ.
We're so excited now. We're not where we are without each other. We're not where we are without the leadership, without baseball operations, without the players, without the city, without the community, without the fans, without the front office, the back office, without the reporters and the press and the media. We need each other. And that's what Jose and I together have built a life on understanding that it is together. And when we are all in, and you all heard the song as we walked in, we are all in. It's not